Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening. It's the beginning of another week. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Yusuf at Adesawe Kanda. Also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okansi. Tonight, Office of the Special Prosecutor begins investigations into vote buying and vote selling said to have marred Ayawaso East National Democratic Congress primaries. Will tell you exactly what the OSP is seeking in the midst of all of this, taking into consideration the previous cases of this nature and where exactly it ended. The NDC has also proceeded with this Ayawaso East primary probe as calls intensify for the results to be annulled. Stay with us. Well, we'll tell you what some persons within the party are also saying regarding the minority, that's the majority MP's position on the calls for annulment. Stay with us. Also, Ghana's Frederick Kumi, popularly known as Abotrika, has sued the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, the Attorney General, and the United States Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, alleging multiple human rights violations. Stay with us. We'll get into all of that and what he's seeking with respect to reliefs as well. And then also, we'll tell you about the developments today earlier regarding what I just referenced about what the NDC has done in putting together that committee to probe what happened on Saturday. Well, what we do know now is that Baba Jamal, that's the man who was declared the candidate-elect for the NDC in the Ayawaso East constituency ahead of that by-election on March 3, has just issued a statement. We're going to be putting out the details of that statement shortly. He appeared before this committee. We'll tell you about it. Also, the Electricity Company of Ghana has issued notice of some planned maintenance, a wide range of areas that will be affected by this. Stay with us. We'll tell you if your area is part of it. You want to know and prepare for it. But as always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
The Ashanti Region Caucus of the Minority has asked government to restore the original four-tier design of the Swami Interchange, warning that scaling down the project would undermine the city's economic importance and long-term transport needs. Former Roads and Highways Minister Francis Asensubuachi says the attempt to reduce the interchange to two-tier is unjust and compromises the initial plan.
Finance Minister has publicly stated that 43 billion Ghana cedis has been allocated to road infrastructure for this year alone. Why can't a fraction of this amount be applied to complete the Swami Interchange project as originally designed? The Ashanti Caucus of Parliament therefore calls on government to restore the original four-tier design of the Swami Interchange project, reprioritize funding to complete the project as designed and planned.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Gavins Agbeja, has pushed back against claims that government is not committed to completing the Swami Interchange, saying, contrary to those assertions, the revised approach to the project offers a more impactful and cost-effective alternative. The Roads Minister was responding to claims by the minority in Parliament.
the statement by my colleague in Parliament and the former Minister for Roads and Highways to the effect that government was not prioritizing the Swami interchange completion is far from the truth. President Akufo-Addo declared that by the end of 2024, the Swami interchange project would have been completed and handed over. So if my colleague Honorable Asenso had heeded to President Akufo-Addo's own plan, we shouldn't even be discussing the issue about whether 3-tier or 4-tier now. It is his failure.
President John Mahama says the response of West African governments to the increasing migration of skilled health professionals must be deliberate and practical, focusing on improving working conditions. Speaking at the 66th Annual Conference of the West African Association of Surgeons at UPSA, he emphasized that the right environment must be created for skilled health professionals to thrive.
Also confront the renewed migration of our skilled health professionals, which is placing increasing pressure on our health systems across our countries. Our response must be deliberate and practical, improving working conditions, strengthening career pathways, enhancing professional recognition, and creating environments in which health workers can thrive and choose to serve, while also developing structured avenues to engage the expertise of professionals in the diaspora.
Alleged wire fraud and romance scam suspect Frederick Kumi, also known as Abu Trika, has filed a suit against the Interior Ministry, Economic and Organized Crime Office, Narcotics Control Commission, and the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation over allegations of unlawful arrest, detention, and interrogation. Abu Trika was recently rearrested after an Accra High Court discharged him following the withdrawal of charges against him by the state. Some lawyers have welcomed the establishment of specialized courts to handle specific cases as directed by Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. In a circular issued on February 5th, the Chief Justice announced the creation of a specialized High Court division to hear criminal and civil cases involving institutions such as the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Auditor General, NACOC, and Galamsey-related matters, among others. The initiative took effect on Monday, February 9, and has been commended by lawyers at the High Court for its potential to improve efficiency in case adjudication.
I will commend the Chief Justice for such an innovation. I will support it, and I believe that it's really going to go a long way to help us deal with our cases within the shortest possible time when we come to court.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. We're also on 3 News on YouTube. Coming up next, the Office of Special Prosecutor has begun investigations into vote buying set to have marred the Yawaso East National Democratic Congress primary. We'll get into that in a bit, but before that, as I indicated to you earlier today, the NDC's own internal mechanisms have been established to determine exactly what happened on Saturday. The allegations of vote buying, vote selling, inducement that we saw captured on video on Saturday. There was a committee that was established by the party almost immediately after these incidents went viral and was captured by the media Now, the committee has been given tomorrow. In fact, they've indicated by tomorrow their report will be ready. Now, one of the aspirants on Saturday who was declared the winner by the Electoral Commission, Baba Jamal, has issued a statement right now. We have a copy of it. We're going to put it on the screen right now. He says, you have it there, Baba Jamal Mohammed Ahmed. He says the NDC parliamentary candidate, Ayawaso East constituency. I appeared before the committee chaired by Kofi Totobi Kwache to investigate the alleged cases of vote buying during last Saturday's primaries held in the Ayawaso East constituency. I used the opportunity to reiterate my innocence and firmly deny any attempt on my part to induce voters. Indeed, I have previously contested 2 primaries in the Ayawaso East constituency and on both occasions lost to the late Member of Parliament. That's in each instance, according to Baba Jamal, he continues that I humbly accepted the outcome in the spirit of party unity and cohesion. In fact, during the last primaries leading up to the 2024 elections, I secured 309 votes as against the winner's 452 votes. My growing popularity among our cherished party supporters in the constituency is as a result of the initiatives I have undertaken, my integrity, and our shared commitment to securing better representation for Ayawaso East constituency in Parliament. I wish to thank the committee for the opportunity to appear before them and also extend my gratitude to the delegates of Ayawaso East constituency for the confidence and trust they have reposed in me to lead the NDC in the upcoming by-election. He continues, says, I remain driven by our collective desire to bring meaningful development to the constituency and improve the lives of our people. This is Baba Jamal's statement. So indeed confirming that he did appear before the committee that was set up by the NDC to investigate what happened on Saturday. He appeared earlier today. Now, we do know that this committee, all things being equal, by tomorrow their report is going to be presented, in fact, to the party leadership. We would establish a few more details on that, so stay with us. But before we get into the matters of the special prosecutor getting into this, let's stay a bit further on the party, that's the NDC, and what they have done over the period. Earlier today, Baba Jamal himself spoke to the media, denying, even before this statement, denying that he had indeed induced in persons with TV sets, because that's what he's been accused of, sharing television sets to these delegates. I want to take a listen to him. Take a look.
I've been invited to meet the committee later today, and as I said, I will make myself available for any investigation to go on so that our names will be cleared, so that everybody will have confidence in the system. We don't have anything to hide, and so we will make ourselves available to go and respond to whatever investigation that they want to conduct.
What message do you have for supporters?
No, I will ask my supporters to stay calm. You have seen the crowd here who have come to show solidarity. I am grateful to them. But everybody should stay calm, because let's allow the processes to go on and let the party do what it's supposed to do.
It appears the independent candidate is taking advantage of what is happening. I was in the constituency and I've seen that he's seriously campaigning. Are you not worried about what is happening now?
No, I don't want to comment on him. Let me finish my battle and then I'll come to you.
You are sure you are coming out clean and
victorious? As I've said, I have not done anything wrong, and for that matter, I am sure I have earned a genuine victory, and for that matter, I will be allowed to go on.
You didn't share the TV. We are told it's your friends that share the TV. Can you confirm that?
I also heard it after even the election that I heard these things. I also heard it later that some TVs were shared. And now, do you have now know the problem I have? Now, a lot of people, because I think they didn't share for everybody. Now, everybody is coming to my office here asking for TV, and now I don't have TV. You understand? They are all now coming here, everybody wants TV, and I don't have TV because I have not shared. Those who dealt with it, I don't know. Actually, do you know that the people they are talking about? I don't even know. I've not seen them. I've heard the names. I know the name, but I've not even seen them as I talk to you now. So I really cannot really say anything about that.
Finally, sir.
That's Baba Jamal, the man I just read his statement. It says he didn't even know. He got to know about the sharing of TV sets after the election. But there's one gentleman who spoke to the media. We have him on tape confessing and sharing that indeed he got a TV set and other items as well. Take a look at this.
Meti say na chiche nyo bi unye bi. Kadai. E chiche bi unye bi. Manya TV. Any 3,000. 3,000. And so why the man we? I'm hiding pa. It's one or two one. Na. Over two one or two. But my vote is my secret. Did I could do them ho? You to here. My vote is my secret.
Well, so that's him there. Very happy looking gentleman, delegate, to say he got a TV set and 3,000 Ghana cedis. So the focus has been on the TV sets, but what we're getting to know now is that there was a lot of monies, different amounts of monies that were also shared to these delegates. And they enjoyed themselves on Saturday. And one other person, another lady as well, shared what she saw, what she got in the midst of all the goodies. Take a look.
TV no na ebi no mama 50 million ebi no mama access pad kibo gari pad ye dey to aba ai ebi ma pad kibo gari kaba cafe tuma pofa ice chest mu bottle enti se baba jama so ama TV a enu nya news ebi bae asa na ebi swear dey eba but na ebi ka say so yes ana asa auto vote ni dey free eba mo di sika eto enya baba jama na ebi sika to ye free tete MPP bae na mo di sika na eba ji ye enti sa na tie.
Well, earlier today, a group of Zango chiefs with the Zango Chieftaincy Council, specifically in the Ayawaso East constituency, they addressed a press conference. They say that they want the status quo to remain and that Baba Jamal being declared the candidate-elect should be made to contest the by-election, regardless of what the party has said. This is what the Zango chiefs are demanding. Take a look.
No matter what, during elections, one will come out victorious. Honorable Baba Jamal has won the election, and we the chiefs are congratulating him for coming out victoriously. May the Almighty Allah guide him and bless him. We are appealing to everyone to give out their support to the winner and the loser, because they are all ours. No differences among us. Now that Baba Jamal has become victorious, we are going to work out so that we all work together with one common goal. What's the goal for? It's how to unite the people of Nima, how to clean up Nima, how to see that our streets are very tidy, how to see that our gutters are very tidy, and so forth and so on. Our youth, they need to become soldiers, they need to become policemen, fire service officers, and other important jobs.
We are living peacefully in this community, and we need to move ahead with the peace.
So this is a group of these Zango chiefs earlier addressing the press conference. Let's bring in the Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC, also the CEO of GIFEC, Rashid Tanko Computer. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Alfred. Let me say good evening to your cherished viewers across the globe.
I'd also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Kwame Asa-Asante, a senior lecturer, Political Science Department, University of Ghana, Legon. Thank you for joining us. But I started with you, Rashid Tanko. So is it a case of your party finding itself between a rock and a hard place, taking into consideration what you've decided to do? You set up this committee to investigate this, but already there are demands that you should, in fact, the outcome of this committee's work should not go contrary to what happened on Saturday with the declaration of Baba Jamal.
Alfred, you know, the NDC is a social democrat. The party is a social democratic political party, and we respect the views of everybody in the party. Nonetheless, the party is governed by the Constitution. That is Constitution. We also, when we are running primaries, we come out with approved regulations. And then in our regulation, we are very strict in applying the regulations. Clearly, the NDC always give level playing grounds to all candidates or aspirants who are willing to take up leadership position in the party. And so when matters of this nature happens in the party, quickly, leadership will always put up a committee to investigate. Our party is such a party that we don't take hasty decisions. No, we don't do that. The party is made up of seasoned politicians, seasoned people of high intellect in the leadership. And so when matters of this nature comes, it takes time for the party to arrive. We don't just rush into taking decisions. And then so I wasn't surprised at all. On the D-Day, a statement was issued by the General Secretary of the party condemning the action, what is happening, because it's not known to the party, the NDC, and then follow it through with a 3-man committee. Alfred, if you look at the committee that has been set to investigate this matter, it's led by a venerable, seasoned politician, Honorable Kofi Totobi Kwachi. This is somebody who has seen it all when it comes to party politics, campaigning strategies, and all that. From the PNDC to the early days of the NDC and up to now, he's been in leadership position of the party and in government. He's a very experienced person. So leading a team of crack 2 lawyers, again, we have Honorable Ines Afuseni. He's been a MP Tamale Central on several occasions, and the Minister of State, a leader in the, you remember the early days in our opposition, when we lost power in 2005, when they formed the NDC youth group, which was advocating for
right. But what I wanted to establish is, this committee are we to expect their report tomorrow, as has been widely reported?
Yes. In fact, they are to submit their report to Functional Executive Committee tomorrow. In fact, we are meeting tomorrow. Every Tuesday we meet, and tomorrow being Tuesday, they were mandated to submit their report on the 10th, which is tomorrow, to the Functional Executive Committee chaired by the national chairman. We will look at their report, and then a decision will be made thereafter.
Okay, stay with me, Rashid Tanko Peter. Dr. Asa-Asante, now you see the party wanting to do right, but then again, you have the swell of calls from the various stakeholders, the Zango chiefs, other persons in there. The Zango chiefs say that if the verdict is changed and this result annulled, as the majority in parliament are calling for, they may not be able to guarantee, law and order. There could be chaos in the Ayawaso East constituency. I mean, how do you expect the MPP, the NDC to navigate this? I mean, with this situation that they are confronted with?
I believe the party must go forward. Yes, even though they respect authority as within that political enclave, but the party has a duty to the whole society that they need to get to the bottom of this matter. So from where I sit, I believe strongly they have to go ahead and then do the investigation, and whatever comes out, we'll take it from.
And in fact, that's what we glean from what Rashid Tanko Peter is saying, and this would be at the risk of incurring the wrath of these persons. We've heard the Zango chiefs and other people calling for Baba Jamal to still be recognized as the validly elected candidate going into the March 3 primaries? Sorry, the by-election?
To incur the wrath of anybody, because you see, democracy is anchored on rule of law. So if there's an issue that the public want to know, remember the public has the right to know, and we want to know what has happened. It is fair and proper that you allow them to go through the process so that at the end of the day, you know what has transpired. That will even strengthen their hand in the constituency that we have the right person to lead us. Even though there were allegations, ABCD against this person, this is what the outcome is. It can be positive, it can be negative, but they should be able to take it in their strides and then move on. Other than that, they are going to stampede the work of the political party, which I think it is not any right thing that they have to do.
I see. I know you've heard this narrative put out there, especially when the majority in Parliament, you had 16 heads of these various committees in Parliament on the majority side issued this statement clearly condemning what happened on Saturday, and in fact even going ahead to call for an annulment of the elections, the primaries on Saturday. Well, there are those who are pointing fingers at them as well, saying, well, you know, don't be hypocritical about this, because you MPs, you may have also engaged in that same, you know, sharing of gifts and getting people to vote for you during the primaries, and now you're members of Parliament. So if there are any group of persons who have to talk about this, not the MPs, because they're beneficiary of what they are condemning. In fact, a Greater Accra Regional Executive of the NDC also said the majority in Parliament have no locus to even talk about this, because this is a pure party matter. That's their stance. Doc.
What I know and what I have observed over the years with pain is that Ghanaian society has been very hypocritical, especially the political actors, that they, of course, not all of them, they induce voters to vote one direction or another during an election. And then they come back to complain when it doesn't go their favor. That's what we are witnessing today. It is a product of we as a society acquiescing to all the wrongdoings relative to what inducement in election. And anytime such issue comes up, it is swept under the carpet, and the next time we don't hear anything about it. Now look at it. People have taken the conversation a notch further, and you see things that are being given to people so as to influence them, their choices and all that. When things of this nature happens, it undermines the frontiers of democracy, in the sense that you are going to deny that society the right candidate who would have won based on what? The needs of the people, based on the fact that the people have assessed that individual and have realized that he is the man that would deliver the public good for them, and for which reason they want to give up what their support to that person. As soon as money comes in, I'm afraid, then all these necessary ingredients that we need in elections are thrown into the lake of fire. So today, here you are. The NDC is facing it. But let me also say that it is not all of them, all the political actors who engage in this. And this particular act is something that is also universal. All political parties, a day to the elections, they share every money, everything that they can lay their hands on, they share just to sway voters. But we society have glorified them. We also always vote for them based on tradition and all that. But when we consider this thing as an aberration, as a misnomer, and we punish them severely, they will learn from this. But we have not been hard enough to deal with this issue on, and that is why it is gaining currency. I'm afraid what we are seeing now, from where I sit, I don't know whether the NDC can muster courage if a report comes out with sanction that they can implement. We are looking forward to see that. If they are able to do that, then they will be, their names will remain in the annals of this country as be one of the parties that have been able to crack the whip and then deal with this situation decisively. But if they fail, I'm afraid it's going to be albatross around their neck, anytime there is election, people will play that tape for them to hear.
I see. On that point, Dr. Asante, stay with me because I put that same question. I'm going to put that same question to Rashid Tanko Computer, who's still with us on Zoom. Rashid Tanko Computer, that's the question of whether you're going to have the courage to be able to even implement any sanctions if the committee you have established to investigate this recommends so in the report they are expected to present to the Functional Executive Committee tomorrow. Because clearly in your statement, you established that wrongdoing has been committed. To that extent, there's an expectation that there has to be some punishment or some sanction, because this is the statement you put out on Saturday night. The attention of the national executives of the NDC has been drawn to the widespread incidents of inducement and vote buying, allegedly perpetuated by some aspirants at the primaries in the Ayawaso East constituency today. And you vehemently condemn this in no uncertain terms as they represent an affront to the values and principles of the party and the reset agenda. So clearly you state there that these are incidents that are an affront to what you stand for. Should we be expecting some sanctions regardless of whatever the outcome?
Well, Alfred, that is why I said the party in its wisdom set up this committee, the 3-man committee, to go into the matter. You know, that is why, you see, if you look at the wording of that statement, the General Secretary was very clear about it. That is why I say allegedly. He stated that allegedly perpetrated by some aspirants. Now, this committee is going to establish which of the aspirants was involved in this matter. At that point, it was flying, the news was flying all over the place. Social media, traditional media, all over the place. And then so the General Secretary and leadership of the party couldn't have just pinpointed that so and so is involved. And to what extent was that act would have disturbed the elections. And so it was right for him to first issue that statement and then follow it up with this committee. Now, this committee, because we believe in them, we trust them, we have confidence in them, that is why they've been given this mandate to come out with a report. And I can assure you, when they present the report, the National Executive Committee will study the report and make sure, because these are issues. Look, our opponent, for them, they have institutionalized this kind of act in their party. The MPP are noted for that. So when they did it in 31st January, where they went and they were paying money, delegates were queuing and collecting money brazenly and publicly, they didn't issue any statement. Nobody cares. To them, it's known to them. It's part and parcel of their political culture, MPP. But the NDC, as a social democrat, we don't know these things. It's not part of it. So that is why this committee, we'll wait and see what they will bring to the table tomorrow at FEC for the functional executive to study the report. Because we want to sanitize our political landscape. And so I'm very sure, and I have trust in this committee. If you look at the membership, I have confidence, and the leadership of the party have confidence in them. And I can assure you, their report will be taken seriously when it is presented to the FEC.
I see. And Dr. Asante, we don't know what the outcome of this committee's work will be. And in fact, tomorrow they'll present their report to the Functional Executive Committee. But if any of the aspirants, explains that, well, yes, persons have confessed getting all sorts of items from persons who represent these aspirants. But then again, it wasn't meant to induce them or to bribe them or to have them sell their votes. Would that tick the box for you?
Nothing can convince me. Once you receive a gift, you see, if you look at inducement, it is something that will influence you one way or the other. And whatever form or shape, it has a way of influencing people. Remember, the electoral system we are operating in Ghana, first past the post system, one vote is important for you to win the slot. So once you get that to even move 1 or 2, 3 people, you are home and dry. And that is what we are saying, that don't do anything of that nature. Sometimes you see political actors telling us that, oh, we give little transport, we give so and so. Yeah, you gave little transport of 200. We are saying it's wrong. What about somebody giving 1,000? Would you condemn or not? Somebody can give even a V8 as a means of transport, depending on the person who receives it. We are saying that all these things are part of the political corruption, that when you develop it, when you maintain it, and when you don't deal with it, it will become an albatross around your neck, and they will undermine the quality of democracy that we have. We have struggled over the years to build this democracy, and such efforts are nothing but what? Things that put spanner in the work of what we are doing to salvage and consolidate this democracy.
That's Asante. And before I let you go, Rashid Tanko, just briefly, what happens after tomorrow, after the committee presents their report to the Functional Executive Committee?
In fact, a decision would be arrived after the report is presented, after we've studied it at the Functional Executive Committee. Don't forget, we are filing on Wednesday. The candidates are supposed to file with the Electoral Commission on Wednesday. It started today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday will be the final day for filing for the 3rd March elections. And so we still have some few days to deal with this matter. And that is why we expect that they will bring their report tomorrow and a decision will be arrived. And then we'll take it from there. I can assure you the executive will make justice to this tomorrow.
Thank you. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC, also CEO for GIFEC. Let's stay a bit further on this, but from a different perspective. This time around, as we do know, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and that's what's coming up next, says it is commencing investigations into the alleged vote buying said to have marred the NDC Ayawaso East primary. And that statement captured two things that the Special Prosecutor's Office intends to do. I'm going to run through it briefly. They say they've commenced investigations. That's what the Special Prosecutor put out on the early hours of Sunday. Investigations in respect of, one, the new Patriotic Party's presidential primaries conducted on 31st January 2026. That's the first day. The first time we got to know that they're investigating this is when they put out this statement over the weekend. And then the second one, the 7th February 2026, also they said they commenced real-time investigation in respect of the National Democratic Congress parliamentary primary at the Ayawaso East constituency. The investigations focus on allegations of vote buying, vote selling, and the sources of funding of the alleged corrupt acts. During the conduct of the parliamentary primary at the Ayawaso East constituency, 7th February, one of the candidates, Mohamed Baba Jamal, according to the OSP, allegedly abetted thugs to fiscally attack an officer of the OSP who was serving an investigative directive on him, that's Baba Jamal, in relation to vote buying and vote selling. Consequently, the OSP has opened further investigation into the assault of an authorized officer of the OSP in the performance of his functions in relation to Mohamed Baba Jamal. The OSP reminds the public that the law prohibits corrupt acts in relation to public elections. It is a serious offense to engage in vote buying, vote selling, intimidation, threats of violence, and acts of violence in relation to elections. And this is where I bring in private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us. And you see what the OSP has put out there right now, taking into consideration what the NDC itself put out in this statement earlier. I referenced acknowledging what had gone wrong and why they are even investigating this internally with their own efforts, setting up the committee. How do you expect things to play out, especially with the OSP setting into this matter?
Number one, for OSP, I'm not sure where this is taking them, because we saw Professor Anyaku on camera giving money, okay, at the voting center, blah, blah, blah. OSP came out several times. Oh, yes, the case is almost ready for court, or even the case will be presented to court soon. Today, as we speak right now, I'm not aware that that case has been presented to court. So for Professor Nyaku's case, which is about at least 2 years now, because this government, this new NDC administration has been in government for over a year now. And if you look at Nyaku, yes, for at least 2 years now. SP hasn't taken that case to court. So when they said they are interested in this particular one, I was like, oh, for the where? For the where, like we say locally. So that's it. But the NDC promised to go into the bottom of this matter is very commendable. I think it's in sync with the reset agenda by the president, because for NDC itself to come out, I mean, the majority caucus, we must applaud them. That's leadership. Mahama Ayarga and his cohorts, that they came out to say no, their results be annulled. And that's commendable. And I'm hoping that all the persons involved, all of them, would be banned. Yeah, so that we'll have a fresh set of candidates. Because, well, even though we are yet to see the committee report, etc., but so far from the videos circulating, you can see that it was this giving, attempting to bribe voters, etc., was widespread. It wasn't only Baba Jamal. I mean, to be fair, he wasn't the only one involved in it. So, I mean, I hope that all of them will get banned so that we would get a fresh set of candidates. But it's very exciting, extremely exciting to see that the MDC wants to set a good example for other parties to follow. That's commendable. Mr. Okansi, now let's come back. There's this other technical point we haven't answered yet. You see, when the OSP said it's stepping in, there's this fundamental question that when vote buying, etc., takes place within party primaries. Now, a party primary, is there a public election as defined in the public, the Representation of People's Act, PNDC Law 284? Yeah, that's fundamental questions are party primaries. Is that a public election? Because if you go to PNDC Law 284 and its amendment, public elections there are parliamentary elections and then presidential elections. Then through the OSP case in Kumasi, the 1 year, the Safu Kantanka case, you know that one, he sought to bribe district assembly members to vote for him as a DC nominee. And then when he lost, he requested for his money back. It went to court, and that one was taken as a public election then, right? So that's good. But this one is a party primary. So that's a new hurdle. Party internal primary. Is that a public election? Is that a public election? So I think this thing, it will be good that we just have an amendment of the law to expressly include the party primaries. Because right now, as we're speaking, we are not sure that a judge will be willing to move once or maybe some steps forward from the district assembly elections being considered public elections to now party internal primaries. I'm not sure whether a judge would agree or not. So to avoid such an embarrassment, if a judge were to disagree, it's just better that we amend the law to expressly include party primaries. This is not the first time. Every time there's party primaries and then there's vote buying, we talk about the need for amending the law, then we shanter it aside as soon as we are done with the elections. So you see that even at the time the OSP was taking Safu Kantanka to court, there were many people that thought that, hey, it will fail. The court will not accept the election, or let's say confirmation, which is a form of election, the confirmation of MMDCs as a public election. And then, well, luckily for us, it worked. But will we be twice lucky? Will we be twice lucky to say that, oh, on this second occasion, now going into a party primary would constitute public election? Right. Do we want to gamble like that, or we should rather just amend the law to make it very clear?
And that point you talk about the amendment of the law, and you're right, Counsel, because you reference previous instances where the OSP expressed interest in some cases of vote buying, vote selling. We haven't seen the end of it yet. Remember this, Secho Dumasi, what happened during the 2023, that's the presidential primary of the MPP. We saw monies being shared out there. And then also the Komewu and then Asin North by-elections, the vote buying cases that we saw, the OSP expressed interest. In fact, they put this, if you recall, this image, this out there, that these were individuals that the OSP said, you see, the following persons are wanted by the OSP for corruption and corruption-related offenses in relation to or in respect of public elections, especially vote buying. This was almost 4 years ago. These persons, the OSP said they are wanted persons. We haven't seen the end of this. And then also this one, same for corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of public elections, especially vote buying. So, yes, you're right. There have been previous instances where the OSP has taken interest in these cases of vote buying, but we haven't seen the end of it yet, at least these two and the others that you referenced. Does it make the path to investigating this recent one as is taking interest in a bit difficult, you would say?
Not at all. Not at all, because like you said, from 2023, that election, there was a promise to investigate. We've not gone to court with it. It's still hanging. Number two, Asin North by-election, nothing has happened. Number three, Professor Nyaku's case, nothing has happened. And so then number four, not to blame the OSP itself, the Safo Kantanka case didn't go well. So it will weigh on them, not holding the OSP personally liable for not winning the case. But I'm saying that because that case was lost, I'm sure that itself will weigh on them. So the picture doesn't look good. But that's why you see, that's why once again we'll commend the majority caucus and also the NDC. Yes, Fifi Fiabi Kwete did well with the statement. NDC will not stand for such vote by, etc. So there are times that the society moves ahead of the law. This is one clear instance that society gives the law the lead. So we are showing the law where they should catch up, right? So I'll be happy, as I said, if the NDC committee's report tomorrow comes out to ban all of those who are involved so that we'll have fresh candidates to go to parliament, right? And that will be sufficient for now whilst we take steps to amend the law. Because this Matra Makwe is not a strategy. Let's go by Article 19, Clause 11. Something is not a crime until you've expressly written it into the law, defined it, given punishment. Party primaries, going to attempt to push it as public elections, I'm thinking it's a bit far-fetched. Even though in my heart, I wish a judge would uphold, but why do we want to gamble? Yes, we gambled the first time the Safo Kantanka, that's DC confirmation or DC elections within an assembly, it worked. But let's think twice before we gamble again this time.
I'm going to go for this quick break. When I come back, we'll find out whether the current position of the law, the Representation of People's Act, PNDC Law 284, would make it in any way difficult in prosecuting this matter. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight, and Alamat Gbegbo is still with us on Zoom. Council, before I let you go very quickly, you reference what could possibly be a challenge in the position of the law on internal party elections and this acts of vote selling, vote buying, inducement, and that's the Representative of People's Act, PNC Law 284. So if the law is not amended to reflect the specific instance of vote buying in internal elections, there could be hurdles in pursuing this matter if other agencies apart from the OSP is minded?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this point we've gone every time we go and come. Oh yes, well then people say let's amend the law. Let's amend. Of course, the problem is that we know because it touches rawness. We know that yes, parties are involved, so there's a lot of interest in not passing the law. But like we're saying, under the new Ghana, we want to get past such obstacles because we've debated these matters. As far as I can remember, almost every presidential primaries, then monetization of our policies. Can we amend the law to include party primaries? Then we talk, then we go away, then we come back. This law is almost becoming like the code of conduct for public officers, which we've been trying to pass for over 20 years now, just because we are saying that politicians must disclose where all their assets are. That's publication of the declared assets. So you see that every government comes and they are trying to dodge. Every government comes, they are trying to dodge. And this time the IMF says, well, lie. They will allow this government to dodge. So let's keep pushing. This amending the law to include party primaries as public elections is something we must do. It's something we must do. There's no turning back. We can't make progress without it.
Thank you so much for joining us on this. Private legal practitioner Martin Gbegbo there. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, and Ghana's Frederick Kumi, popularly known as Abu Trika, sued the Economic and Organized Crime Office, the Attorney General, and in the United States FBI, alleging multiple human rights violations. And this is what we got to know based on what his lawyer did tell the media. And we've also got details of exactly the reliefs that he's seeking from the court. Let's just see the reliefs that Abu Trika, through his lawyer, Oliver Bakaboma, is seeking. Prolonged detention, food and water deprivation is unconstitutional. Interrogation of applicant while in handcuffs and surrounded by armed officers, despite requests for access to counsel, unlawful. We also talk about interrogation of applicant by FBI operatives is unlawful. Search of applicant house without allowing him to be present breaches rights to privacy. And recording of applicant while under arrest is unlawful. Exclude and render inadmissible any item obtained during search of applicant's residence. Order restraining defendants from extraditing applicant. So these are essentially what they're seeking. And then also other allegations that he makes is that the officers seized items including faulty Lamborghini, Mercedes, and Cybertruck left in the applicant's custody by clients for sale. So we'll see how this case proceeds. But you can find more of this on 3news.com. Also, before we go, it's coming up next, there's a notification from the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, regarding some maintenance that they are conducting or undertaking, which would impact on some areas. And that's coming up next. Residents across multiple regions of Ghana should prepare for scheduled power interruptions that's this few days ahead of us. In fact, it started from yesterday. We're going to put just portions of the plan notice on the screen in a bit. As the ECG works on this plan maintenance, the operations which will result in temporary outages are concentrated between Sunday, February 8 and Friday, February 13, 2026, affecting communities in Accra East, Accra West, Accra Central, and the Tema regions. And this is the first one. Let's see this. The most extensive single outage appears scheduled for the Tema region, Tema, Thursday, February 12th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is it. These are some of the areas that's going to be affected based on the schedule that the ECG has published as well on the screen. We'll put that right now. It says one is areas such as Boteman, Lakeside Estates, Community 6, Community 8, New Legon Hills, Teman Junction, SDA, and Konam Farms, Oyarifa Town, and surrounding areas. And that's for Wednesday, 11th February, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also, they've put out some notification to some areas that you'll find as well. The full details of it on 3news.com, also on the ECG's own social media handles, as well on Facebook and on X. I'm Alfred Conse. Have a good night.